right, friends, welcome back to the Global Intel channel. Thanks again for being here. I want to talk about where the next steps of the Israeli-Iranian conflict are going to go. And we're going to start with where we are, and we're going to end with where I think we're going to be in about a week. So, right now, we have had the exchange between Iran and Israel. And of course, it's interesting because it started off as Israel getting attacked, in their words, on October 7th. And from there, it was an operation in Gaza. And they basically went to town on the people there. Okay, that's there's no way to put it. They didn't hold back. They took the gloves off, and they started to really do a deep dive into finding anybody and everyone that they considered to be an adversary to Israel, and have been dropping the hammer on the Hamas leadership since. Well, of course, at that point, other proxies have raised up and come to the aid of Hamas, sometimes not so much helping them, but just diverting attention and trying to keep the Israelis occupied. Hezbollah in the north, of course, the Houthis in the Red Sea, and in other proxies from here and there, Iraqi resistance and all that. Israel struck in Damascus and took out some upper leadership of the IRGC and others in Iran. Iran responded, chucked a couple hundred few missiles, few hundred missiles, and they said 99% were intercepted. About 85, I think, is an accepted number of percentage of taken down. So 85 out of 100 were taken out by air defense. 15 got through, which, considering that's a problem, and it shows that overwhelming the system is a possibility. Israel sent some quadcopters a few nights ago, and, kind of seemed like a nothing burger, but now they're saying that this is to test the Iranian defense, because they've got these special things that can go in and we don't know exactly what it is they can do, but they can evidently beat the Iranian defense systems. And from there, they will do what they feel they need to do. And this is defense systems that are surrounding nuclear plants, places, nuclear bases, where they're, of course, the Iranians, they're telling that they're making power plants. This is for human beings' consumption. The accusation is that they are actually, in fact, making nuclear weapons. So here we are, and we're kind of at an impasse. The Israelis say they kind of responded to that quadcopter thing, and they were testing the waters and seeing what they could get away with. The Iranians, took that as a win, said, oh, you can't do anything to us. This is a weak sauce response. And then, of course, now the ball is really in the Israelis' court. And the Israelis, I think, have said, what we're going to do, and this is inner communications, and I'm sure through back channels, they'll alert Americans and, people that they consider partners of what is potentially coming, and they're going to go into Rafah. And I think next weekend after Passover, before the 1st of May, they're going to go into Rafah. They're going to start an operation. They've been moving assets to the area, mobilizing troops, calling up reservists, getting tanks and other things. There is at least 1.2, we'll say 1 to 2 million people in Rafah. It's where all of Gaza has gone to escape the onslaught of the Israelis and what they've done to Gaza. And now, I think they're going to go in and this, what happens from this, I don't know. I guess that's the thing I haven't really fleshed out yet. And I don't know what to say or what to think. But what I do know is that the Israelis are going to go into Rafah, whether they have approval or not, because they want to do this bad. In their mind, this is where the last of the Hamas people are. Also, there's another thing that, people aren't really talking about, but Gaza has a lot of beachfront property. And the settlers, the Israelis that want, there's a lot of humanity in a very small area. It would be, really good for the, I don't want to say good. It would be to the Israelis' benefit, I guess is the best way to put it, if they were to acquire or to essentially take over Gaza and turn it into the next Israeli neighborhood. There'd be a lot of benefits from that for them. So what does that mean? Well, I think it means there's a lot of things riding on this, to the Israelis. They get to remove the problems that Gaza has presented. They get to go after the upper leadership of Hamas, and they get this entirely huge area where they've got some good real estate. Also, they've got a lot of oil and gas off the coast there. So there's a lot of things that are really enticing. So from here, the Israelis, well, they're going to do what they're going to do. And I think by next weekend, the world's going to be in turmoil again, because what happens from the international community, what do the Egyptians do? What do, the Russians have been putting in assets to the west of Egypt in Tobruk, which is about 60 kilometers away from Egypt. And, what do they respond with? They've been saying that you can't do this. Will this give the international community that is, not on the western side of things the green light to kind of drop the hammer and say this is now the kind of operation that is more on par with cleansing than it is eradicating an adversary? So I don't know. Where we go from here, I don't know. But I can tell you next weekend, Rafah is going to be the big conversation. And the Israelis are going to do everything they can to get that done. And if they do get it done, what will the international community do? And what will the world look like at that point? I don't know, but that's what I think and see is coming. So, to all of you, thank you for being here. Tell people about it. And I appreciate you. We'll start to get this more. This is just kind of a placeholder. And we're going to get this thing up and running. It's good to have you all here. And, Global Intel Channel out.